Hello, dear all. My presentation is about GIS-based tools application for emergency event for disaster mitigation activities. And we have several organizations who are involved in this cooperation program. And one of them is Seismology Institute and Kazakh British Technical University. And we are targeted to adopt HAZUS. HAZUS is a GIS-based tool. Sorry. And it will be reasonable to adapt it for Kazakhstan. Why? Kazakhstan is a huge country, and we have a lot of the disaster events, floods, droughts, and here in south of Kazakhstan we may potentially have earthquake, and we had before earthquake, and we may have earthquake definitely. And it could be combination of different disaster event like a domino effect, earthquake, flood, fire. So it will be combination. You may see one of the biggest problem in Kazakhstan that we have condensed cities. So it's very difficult to understand why we have these condensed cities. And Kazakhstan is a huge country, very small population, but just several spots, Astana, Almaty, you see only several spots are very crowded, and the rest of the Kazakhstan is, just empty. And one of the problem what we have is just a very strange strategy that we are killing lakes, we're killing marshy lakes, and we kill swamps. So instead of building buildings on a wide area, it's understandable. Cities like Tokyo or Singapore, they don't have land. But Kazakhstan is a huge country, and you see we are killing, we are destroying lakes, wetlands, and we love to build cities on the wetland by killing these swampy areas. And when we build this type of buildings in swampy areas, so potentially it will be flooded. So it's very strange strategy. It's very difficult to understand why we're doing so. And we're continuing to do. So where it's another huge problem what we have, we're killing our rivers. So this is Balkhash Lake, just as an example. And we are building many dams. We are killing our lakes. We already killed Aral Lake, and Caspian Lake is shrinking, and Balkhash Lake. So, and also all these dams are destroying all these rivers and lakes. So it's very difficult to understand the strategy. And we love to build this type of buildings. So we had this Astana, Almaty, which are built in the same way, and we decided to build another Alatau, Singapore. It's earthquake area, this area in Almaty, and so it will be a domino effect, definitely like in Turkey. When crash one building, it will crash next one, so it will be domino effect. So it's hard to understand why we are doing so. And for this purpose, it will be very reasonable to develop can be combined, integrated modeling tool like HAZUS. So HAZUS works on combination of for mitigation of different type of disaster event like earthquake and floods and different hurricanes, winds problems. So this type of tools will be reasonable to use in Kazakhstan. And unfortunately, in Kazakhstan, everything just divided. So earthquake is one organization, floods is different, fires is different, and so on. So we don't have this type of integrated model. And sorry, we don't connect all this stuff to the money. It's another problem. So researchers are develop a different type of modeling prediction tools without direct connection to money. So it's another big problem to involve insurance companies when we have, for example, floods and this type of issues. all the time people demand to get money from our President Tokayev, and when we demand this money, it means we will get tax money. So budget has a problem, and taxes will be increased. So it will be reasonable to work on this type of tools and work on the proper prediction analysis, modeling what may happen in the future, and estimate what amount of money could be, and try to be efficient with our expenses. So this type of problem will continue, and so how we can be prepared better for these activities. So we have to use more prediction analysis, modeling, prediction, and so this is a GIS-based technology. Is plugins. So if we get ArcGIS and plug in this type of tools, it will help to work on prediction analysis. So it's very demanding job. It's require a lot of data, a lot of information about different buildings, what was before. So it's another problem what we have in Kazakhstan, that all ministries are disintegrated. We don't have unified database. So it will require to develop a huge database. So a lot of information are kept secret in Kazakhstan, and it will be reasonable to open all this information to have unified database. For example, in Kazakhstan, Ministry of Transportation has own data. It does not share data with others. Utilities, for example, they are keeping secret, so like KGB system, so they keep in secret, and drainage system of the cities, and also a secret. It's impossible to get, for example, drainage system of Almaty or drainage system of Astana. It's very complicated. So we had a project with Germany, Teresa project. We tried to get some information from cities. This type of information, utilities, is impossible to get. Oh, it's a secret. It's very strange secret. So it's another, this construction, mining companies, and all this engineering construction. So all this information should be in open database. So it's very difficult to get all this information. And all this information about buildings, and quite often all these buildings also keep secret all this information. So about population, so it's a lot of information. So it's require a lot of effort to get all this data. So it's a very big job. And this type of information would be very helpful to have in unified system, and to connect to money. So predict before any disaster event. So if we plan properly before some disaster event, so it may save up to $6. So it's necessary to invest in any activities before, prepare, model, and do not build, for example, buildings in the flood zones. So it's very important activities. And this tool is, as I mentioned, is plug-in. So you may get ArcGIS, and when you plug in, so you may have this different type of subsections, sub-models like earthquake, floods, and the hurricanes. So it's quite a helpful tool. So it will be reasonable to adapt and expand it. For example, if we review for flood estimation, so it will be very helpful to estimate what may happen in the future. For example, in 100 years, in 200, in 500 years. We don't have this type of estimation, for example, for Astana city. Just decided, okay, let's build Astana city. But if it's flooded, what may happen? So what if we had huge flood in, biggest flood in 100? What may happen in 100 years? For example, Astana, Almaty, Singapore, new city. So what may happen if we have this type of flood? What may happen if we have droughts, opposite situation? So it's very important to predict, and for example, to see these flood zones. And for example, if we have big floods for Astana, so how it will be flooded? If we have huge floods, if we have this inundation area, for example, in Atyrau area or Uralsk area. So it's very important to make prediction. And do not build buildings here, for example. Try to model, predict, so it will be reasonable just convince people move to other places. So this is the main point, that this type of tool are very helpful to estimate money, how much it may cost, and instead of building something, before building, it's necessary to estimate what might happen in the future. We don't use this strategy. In Kazakhstan, usually we build something, and after that we see, what's happened. Yeah, so it's better to invest before any engineering build, construction. So this type of tools would be helpful to expand. So you may see different scenarios, what may happen in 100 years, what may happen in 500 years. So this type of support tool will be very helpful. And it's very helpful for insurance companies. So we have to increase capacity of insurance companies in Kazakhstan, and insurance companies should, based on this type of tools, not just prediction by just approximate. Yeah, so it will be better to use this type of GIS based tool. It would be very helpful for analysis. And another important activities, it's gaming. So it's very important to prepare different scenarios and play games. What may happen in this case? What may happen in this case? Just to have all these ministries and parents with children should play games, different disaster event, and prepare for different disaster event and be ready for this type of issues. So scenario-based activities would be very, very helpful to set up in Kazakhstan. So we're working on these activities. We're trying to adapt it. So it's huge work. It's require a lot of investment, a lot of studies. So introduction in school, college, university, GIS. So it's huge job. And we have to convince different ministries. So it's a huge work, and we invite you to join our activities. So these are our contacts, Sholpan, Abzal, myself, and Alibek. So we are working on these activities. Please join us, and we should use this type of tools, GIS-based tool. It should be helpful for sustainable development of Kazakhstan. Thank you very much.